is The Buzzard.
From the Bath Authority Studios.
The Buzzard.
The home of the Buzzard.
Buzzard. This is 100.7 WMMS.
Cleveland.
Time to give, stop away.
All right, our metal show here, 2 hours of midnight, presenting the Ashes of Leviathan tour. Lamb of God and Mastodon, your co-headliners. They are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Ashes of the Wake and Leviathan, respectively. They got Kerry King now going solo after Slayer, and Unearth rounding out the lineup. It'd be an awesome show. Friday, August 9th, it's going to go down at Jacobs Pavilion. You can go to axs.com for all the info. But I give you this pair of tickets here. Good luck. Lamb of God, Mastodon this August. For caller 10, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Studies show that listening to classical music can temporarily raise your IQ.
I feel pretty smart.
If you're looking for the opposite effect, just stay tuned
The Alan Cox Show.
on 100.7 WMMS.
35192, want to send me a text. Rob Reiner back on the show today, around 3:30. He and a director friend of his named Dan Partland have made a movie. It's called God and Country. It's about the rise of Christo-fascism all around the United States, and take it from me, it will terrify you. So I'll talk to him about that briefly. I will be putting 2 people on Mary's Polar Blast team today, since we were out yesterday. Double it up today and tomorrow, because then we're also out on Friday.
Wow.
So if you want to join Snow Babies, we're going back to Boston Mills Brandywine 1 week from this Friday. The 23rd is the 12th annual Alan Cox Show. Polar Blast Battle. Now, we do have a link for you for discount tickets. If you go to WMMS.com, just find the contest page, and it will have all of the other details there for you. My team, Coxsicles, is all set. Bill's team, Ices, is all set. And Mary's team, Snow Babies. Poundcake's the Astro Sliders. And then next week, you'll be able to go on there and vote. Tell us which team you think will win. There's simply no way to know. I don't know what kind of metrics anyone would use. It's just kind of throwing a dart at a board. I can tell you who's won the least. I mean, I think it's me.
I think you and Poundcake have only won it once. Well, you, Poundcake, and Mary have all won just one time.
I've never won it all.
Oh, you never won it all?
No.
Oh, I thought you did one year.
No, I won our go-kart challenge, whatever it was. That was the only thing I've won. I've never won the Polar Blast.
Huh.
So, no, you've won one. It came down. We always do sudden death. Remember, it's always down to me and you. And last time, you outran me. No.
No, I won last time.
No. Alan outran me.
I beat him.
The time he won.
Beat him in the dead heat or whatever.
And then Mary outran me last year. But
No,
Bill
that was
still,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, I outran you and I won.
Okay, well, regardless, my team came in last. Like, I come in, dead last, usually.
That was even 2 years ago. That was 4 years ago.
It was a while ago.
Because that was the bowl cut one that you won.
Regardless.
Because last year was the first year we brought it back, and I won.
Well, I still never won one. I would like to win one. I want to slide down the line.
I would
any
like
sudden
you
death.
to win one too. Quite frankly, I have no problem with that.
I don't like the sudden deaths. I
love the sudden
I got
deaths.
my energy all shot. I'm freezing, and then there's nothing like going down to the end of this.
Your energy all shot. You climbed up a hill and slid down
but
it.
it's cold, and you're sitting there waiting. You're not going immediately, and I like a little push too. I like a little tush push.
Yeah, we can't go down on our stomachs anymore, which is a real bummer because I like doing that. I like jumping off, leaping off, and landing on your tube, and they don't let you do that anymore.
It's almost like euphoric.
I wish we could get a special papal dispensation or something on that.
When you're sliding down, it's kind of like euphoric because you're powerless. Like you just have to go where the little sled or the little tube takes you, and then when you get to a certain point, you're like, oh crap, like you see your competitors like next to you and then you got to get up and run. So it's literally like an adrenaline rush and you run to the end. And when I do that and I beat someone, I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, all right, well, it's sudden death. I'm like, why does it have to be sudden death all the time? Can I live somehow? And so I.
But you got to get a winner. It doesn't always. This isn't Bush v. Gore. I mean, you have to. You can't just give it to somebody. You've got to grab your tube and run. That's what makes it exciting.
There's some extra minutes in there.
That makes it exciting. If we're just sliding down and whoever slides further wins.
Can I mail in my slide?
That's still 90% of it. 90% of the results.
Need to figure out a punishment.
I know.
Here's a simple one. Everybody that loses has to do the one chip challenge.
Okay. Done.
Fine.
I've already done.
Yeah, it is very similar to Poundcake eating that Reaper.
Yeah, but I mean, if everybody's doing it at the same time, I think that'd be funny.
Not one at a time. I can't even drink milk. I don't even know.
Yeah, right?
I guess I don't know if almond milk or oat milk also helps with that, but...
You see they announced the Fantastic Forecasting?
I did.
Nerd alert! Nerd alert! Nerd alert!
If you follow the Marvel Instagram account, they finally dropped a Valentine, announced the casting for the Fantastic Four film. Again, I don't know why John Krasinski had not been in the mix since he already played him. But, and it's got to suck too. I mean, you want to be in one of these Marvel movies. Fantastic Four has already had enough iterations where they were like, they seem to be just doing it so they can nail one of them.
Well, they did it the first time because I think the first two times they did it just because Fox had the rights and they had to make something to maintain those rights. But then it got bought by Fox, got bought by Disney. So now they're just trying to get something that people want to see in
lay
the
their
MCU
claim
because
to it.
Everything has been so mediocre in the MCU since the Endgame.
Yeah, they made it with Ian Griffith back in the day, and then they made it with maybe that's the one I'm thinking of, where Kate Mara was. Anyway, Pedro Pascal, who I think that's probably the worst kept secret in the thing, is going to play Reed Richards. Vanessa Kirby, who is done those Mission Impossible movies, she's pretty foxy. She's going to be Sue Storm. Is that her name, Sue Storm?
Yeah.
And Joseph Quinn is going to be the Human Torch. He's from Stranger Things. And then they got Eben Moss-Backrack, who plays Richie on The Bear, is going to be the Thing. So I hope if you're that actor, you got to hope there's a lot of flashbacks, because the rest of the time, you're just a CGI orange rock guy running around. Like Michael Chiklis played him. Yeah. And there are very few, but I think they had practical makeup on him, actually.
Oh, he was
in like a foam rock suit. Yeah. Now it's all CGI, but so it's like you want to be in one of these movies, but if you're playing a guy who, doesn't read on camera as yourself, that's why they started to make the Hulk look more and more like Mark Ruffalo's face.
But there's characters that are just doing voice acting, and they become very beloved characters. Bradley Cooper is Rocket Raccoon. Korg, who does the
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, but everybody like Vin Diesel is Groot.
Yeah.
So when people see Vin Diesel on the red carpet, they go, "What the hell is Vin Diesel doing there?" Because they either didn't know or they forget. And you're like, "Yeah, you're in the movie."
The check's still clear, man. I honestly think that might be the best way to be in a Marvel movie, because then then you can do other things and people don't associate you with just being that one character. Like Bradley Cooper, when he was doing that movie with the big nose, nobody's like, "Oh, just Rocket Raccoon trying to be Maestro." No, he's Bradley Cooper. And he gets to transform into those characters.
Well, plus he doesn't really sound like Bradley Cooper doing the talking raccoon.
And that's why I like that too, is he puts on a voice like it's a whole-on character.
Yeah. Yeah, that Vanessa Kirby, boy, she is. I think the last thing she was in was that Ridley Scott Napoleon movie, where Joaquin Phoenix just uses his own voice to play Napoleon. Hey, I'm Napoleon. What's going on? They go, we really like Joaquin Phoenix. Even we don't know why. But we really don't want him to try a French accent. So, British, it's usually British. When in doubt, go British. No, his accents are pretty standardly terrible. What if he just uses his own voice as Napoleon? It's a reimagining of a historical figure. Anywho.
It's like in Prince of Thieves, where everybody else has an English accent, and then here comes Kevin Costner. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Robin Hood. Let's go to the castle. Where's Maid Marian?
Alan, how the hell is a young man getting outrun by two? Well, this is here's a text. A young man getting outrun by two older guys and a broad. I guess Mary's the broad in this scenario.
I'm the older man.
I love it.
It depends on how far back you are. Like if my tube is further back than yours. If you have
Careful.
what?
I'm just kidding.
You have a shorter distance to run. That's just what it is. I remember the one time I fainted.
That was last year, wasn't it?
I don't think it was
No,
last year. I don't
No.
remember.
Years ago.
Passed out.
They all tie in together, but a bitch has to. There's so many variables for me. I have to wear a certain amount of layers, a certain certain size shoe to be able to run. Otherwise, they'll fall off my feet. I have to have a big breakfast. I can't really drink anything, like no alcohol, meaning like it's just a lot. I just being in the cold is just too much for me. Like there's just so much stuff. Like in the sun, it's fine. I could be a little dehydrated and I'm fine. Cold, no. There's so many other things I have to do to be healthy, and I hate it. That's why I don't snowboard or ski.
That's why you don't
that's why,
snowboard.
yeah.
That particular reason is why you don't snowboard
And the only
or
reason.
ski.
Like I'm all for like when we were in the cabin when we went to Denver or in Colorado, Breckenridge, whatever. I was cool just by the fireplace, drinking, getting drunk. And they're like, let's take a hike. I said, bitch, don't want to take a hike. Why? It's cold and the oxygen is low up here. Like
You're in Colorado. Like that, people leave their homes every single weekend to go hiking.
We had a view from our balcony. I was like, can't I just sit here in the hot tub and just like look out at the wonderful, gorgeous view?
You do that when you come back from the hike. That's the reward.
But there's bears.
Did anybody see a bear?
No, but they're there.
Yes, bears do exist. That's true.
And they're wild out there.
Yeah. But there are usually signs to that effect. Hey, FYI, this area, might see a bear. You know, if you're camping, that's primarily for campers. If you're camping, you don't leave food out.
There was
If you have stinky clothes, don't hang them out. There was a what?
There was a fox that kept trying to get into our house, and we were like, no, you little fox, you can't get in there. He was so cute. But I think they're vicious.
Well, I don't think you'd want a wild animal running amok through your rental, but I was explaining the dark, violent history of Valentine's Day to my second grader this morning. And
What a fun dad.
I hope that sent her off to class with a better understanding of the day. And, you know, we sent her off with her little a decorated bucket so everybody could put Valentine's in there. And I said, remember, honey, let everybody know this is a day celebrating someone who was decapitated for their efforts. Have fun. Go learn something. That's how I like to send my kid off to school.
I used to be mean in those little Valentine's Day cards.
Of course you did.
You're my chief petty officer. I would expect nothing less.
Well,
Why would you be mean?
There was just kids in there that I didn't like, and I felt you should get a Valentine's Day gift because you deserve it, not because the class makes you give everyone a gift.
That is the part that sucks, is you got to give them to everyone.
And I was like,
Right. I was getting beat up on the regular, and I was like, I got to put a stupid thing in this box here.
Yep. So the night before, we would have all the Valentines for everyone in the class, all scattered around. My mom would help me fold them and put a candy in each one. And then after she was done, I would take my little marker and write a little remark in there. I was like, happy Valentine's Day, so-and-so. I'm sorry you have a bubble head, but here's a sucker to take, so you can enjoy yourself.
But wouldn't that ensure that they would come after you with some kind of...
They already were. There wasn't anything I can do, so I was going to get my lick in.
A bubble head. Wow.
I was like, here, to soak your wounds a little bit, here's a sucker.
To soak your wounds, here's a sucker.
I got my lick.
Well,
in,
now
so
they just
lick
have...
this sucker.
There's a billion ways you can do it now. They have like the little prepackaged things. You just sign your name to it and you drop them in the kids. But yeah, I remember... let's say kindergarten, right? I was in kindergarten in the 70s, the 1970s, Bill.
Yeah, I know.
So nobody's unclear. And yeah, you had to write a thing for every, person, and you drop it. And who cares?
Yeah, I got caught one year because I was coughing on a guy's Valentine's Day card that I didn't like, or it wasn't his card, it was his pail. Everyone had, just like Nora has, a little pail that they would sit by their
You were
desk.
purposely coughing on his pail, yeah. Right, yeah.
And my teacher was like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, I was like,
Putting
"Sorry."
phlegm on it, yeah.
I was like, "I'm sorry. I just felt a little something in my throat there, putting this into so and so's bucket." Doink. And then I'd go about my way.
I have to say, I am kind of surprised it's something that still exists in schools. As bonkers as people have gone over take your pick, it is something I'm surprised is still around, is the Valentine's Day thing.
They got rid of everything else fun. We used to have like...
But is it fun? Like,
yeah. We used to have opposite sex day at our school. They got rid of that. That was problematic.
Yeah.
No more Spirit Week. What do you guys do for Spirit Week now?
What the hell is Spirit? Oh, like when there's a big game coming up?
I guess we had it, but like now it's just you wear game colors. Like it was like have a crazy hair day. They would do that. They would do your favorite
usually
sports
leading up
team.
to homecoming.
Something.
You
And then-
do Spirit Week.
And then they did opposite sex day, which again, looking back on it, I can see why it's controversial now, but then it was just fun, and I didn't even get a chance to do it because this was for high school.
Because you didn't care about the opposite sex.
No, it was guys dressed like girls and girls dressed like guys, and I don't know.
Oh, you could have gone to school as a wish a bitch would.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he was the only 8th grader that was tucking.
But I didn't get a chance to do it. I think I was in primary school, and my brother was in middle school. And by the time I got there, he got all the good stuff. He got Spirit Week, opposite sex day, and then he got to go to Washington, D.C. I didn't get to do none of that stuff. It was all gone by the time I got there. So
And he got a present on your birthday.
a lesser present,
Yeah.
equal or lesser value.
Hey guys, hate the show. Had an opinion question for you. As fans of comedy and experienced comedians, who do you guys think historically is kind of known as a good comedian? However, they really just don't hit with you guys. You don't like them very much. I listen to the iHeartRadio comedy channel, and I think a person for me like that would be Steve Martin.
Steve, you don't like Steve Martin?
I can see why people wouldn't like that. That's
a very different kind of comedy.
very different kind of comedy. Definitely of its time. I don't know how much it holds up. For me, one that never hit the way it did for other people is Eddie Murphy, because by the time I watched his comedy specials, it had been 25, 30 years, and I had already heard a bunch of other comedians do their version of his jokes. So I was just like, oh, this could have been funny if I saw him do it, but I've already heard so many people rip it off that it's no good anymore. So that one is like, I can't, you can't.
Other people ruined Eddie Murphy's stand-up for you.
Yeah, because I'd heard people steal his jokes and tell his jokes and pass them off as his own, or as their own, and I was just like, oh, okay. And they also,
Like Michael Scott doing Chris Rock.
Yeah, kind of. Well, that was
And
one.
not doing them as well.
Right, exactly.
Obviously,
They're doing
but
the open mic version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these aren't like famous comedians. These are people that are, open mic level, but doing his material. And I was just like,
yeah, I mean,
ugh.
for me, I think it goes to your thing about of the time. Like for me, Lenny Bruce, I couldn't get in. I felt like I was supposed to be into Lenny Bruce. I read the book, Ladies and Gentlemen, Lenny Bruce, which is a fantastic book. But that was very much like, I like jokes. He wasn't really doing jokes, I mean, the guy was
doing
getting
social commentary.
Yeah, which I don't mind, but it's like, it was that was a very different situation. But so many people that I like were like, oh, Lenny Bruce. Then you go back and you're like, oof, this is not, this ain't for me.
Sam Kinison.
Oh yeah, you mentioned
I
Kinison.
do not like Sam Kinison.
Yeah,
he's a screaming.
but I don't
angry
think
little
that's
man.
I don't think that's a controversial opinion at all. I mean that's a.
But I mean, a lot of people say he's one of the best to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree.
I was surprised, just perfectly randomly a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to the first Eddie Murphy record, and I forgot how many added laughs are in that album. Because Eddie Murphy was obviously very, very funny guy. People are always, he's the guy that people want to bring back and do stand-up, and I think his thought has always been, I don't want to take a chance of murdering whatever legacy I might have. Maybe he will, I don't know. But that first Eddie Murphy record, there's a lot of added laughter in it, and I don't know if that was a function of just that time. There were a lot of comedy records back in the day that got sweetened a lot. That's what they call it. They would add...
Which means add sugar to.
They would add laughs, right? Like Robert Klein is one of my favorite comedians. There's a lot of added laughs in like Robert Klein records. So I don't know if maybe that was just standard operating procedure or what, but Eddie Murphy obviously is a guy who easily could stand on his own. The freaking guy was on SNL when he was 21, and very, very funny comic. But, yeah, a lot of added laughs in those. And then for Poundcake, I would imagine... the guy that everybody else likes that he doesn't is Jeff Dunham. I don't know. I don't know that he's even thought of it.
I mean, I like Monique, and you guys don't like Monique.
Monique. Right. I'm not that familiar with her work, I have to say. I'm not that familiar with her stand-up. So I couldn't say one way or the other.
I mean, I know her when I first watched her on The Parkers. I didn't know she was a stand-up comedian first. I knew her as an actress. I used to love The Parkers. So that was
a UPN show?
I guess. It was on BET when I was growing up. So my brother would watch 106 in Park, and then I would watch we both would watch The Parkers. And it was just a very female-oriented sexual harassment, because she would harass this professor all the time. Like, she would stalk his house and end up in his bed and like spy on him through the window, beat up bitches that he would bring home. Like, it was very
sounds kind of old-timey.
I mean, it was the late 90s, early 2000s.
No, I know when it was on, but I mean that conceit that like they're trying to get somebody else out of the way so I can have her all to myself. It feels...
she would always like just beat this dude down to the point where he was like, "Fine, Miss Parker, I will go on a date with you." She's like, "Okay, great." Like, and she would just like, I don't know. It was funny.
I'm going to put Monique on my list again. Just because of the way Poundcake's describing this show.
He's not our primary reenactor here on the program, okay?
Hey, Professor Hulkavy.
Yeah, Professor Hulkavy. He's back again. I got 2 spots on Mary's Polar Blast team. We're going back a week from Friday, the Polar Blast Battle, our annual tubing race at Blossom Mills Brandywine on the 23rd. And since we were out yesterday, I'm going to get 2 slots filled today. If you want to join her team, it's called Snow Babies. We'll do that coming back. I'll also have Creed tickets for you later on for people who have been hitting me up for those. Going to talk to Rob Reiner a little closer to 3:30 as well. And the next chance for you to grab $1,000 is coming up from the Buzzard book.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.
Or whatever smart device you have.
Just tell it to play the Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.
iHeart, are you ready?
Our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Awards are coming to Fox.
Live from Los Angeles, Monday, April 1st.
The biggest stars from all genres of music are nominated, and it's up to you, the iHeartRadio listener, to decide who wins.
And the iHeartRadio Music Award goes to...
The iHeartRadio Music Award goes to...
Who had the best lyrics? Who had your favorite tour style? The best music video? Best fan army?
Get your votes in for these categories and more at iHeartRadio.com/awards.
And get ready to celebrate with all of the artists who are nominated.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
It's your boy Jelly Roll.
21 Savage, the Foo Fighters.
It's Olivia Rodrigo.
Hi, this is Shakira.